Hi everyone. In this video we are going to discuss list data type in Python. In Python we have variety of sequenced type data or sequence data types, for example list, tuple or mapping type dictionary or range, and we have variety of such sequence type data types. List is an simplest of that all that data types from the sequence data types. And what is a list? Usually, the list is a collection of data or it's a collection of objects, right? So, here in Python, the list is a collection of um, objects or data items of similar or different data types. So, you can gather a collection of data of similar or different data types. And these data items are enclosed within set of square brackets and separated by comma. Now let us have a small simple list we create. List 1. List 1 is actually named as list 1. It's the name of the list. And within set of square brackets, we have mentioned the data items or objects that are going to be there in the list. So first one is integer, second one is integer, third one is actually float, fourth one is string, and fifth one is bool or boolean. Now, this list is a mix of data of different types, and they are assigned to this list one or the list one. Now, let us go to Python shell to create the particular list. See, if you are creating a list like 1, 2, 3, 3.5 ABC true, then assign it to the list object or list data type, right? Then all these items are assigned to this list one and represented by a common name list one. Now, one important thing is here we created the list with many different types of data, but still the list itself is a data type. For example, if you want to know the type of any data, you can use type function. You can use type function. This type function will return the type of data. Even though this list one is the data of mix or different types, right? This list is itself is a data type. It's a single data type. Let me give this list one or the list object as the parameter to this type function, and if you are entering, if you are press enter, then it is giving the type of this object. Okay, its type of this object is actually list. In Python, every data or data type is represented in the form of a class. So here this list is represented in the form of class, so its data type is a class list. Now we can process this list. So before that, we have to know one important thing, that is lists are mutable. Lists are mutable. What is the meaning of the statement lists are mutable? They can be modified. We have other data types in Python, for example strings cannot be muted. That means they cannot be modified. Once it's created, the contents of the strings cannot be modified. Or if you take a tuple is immutable data type. Once you created this tuple, then it cannot be modified. But lists are mutable. That means you can modify the content of this list. But how to access any element or any data item in this list? By using its index. So what is an index? Index is a numerical identifier that is provided for every element in this list. So what is the first index in any list is 0. Just like string. So in string, the index of the first character is 0. Like that, index of first element in list is 0. So now index of this list element 1 is actually 0. Then index of the last element. Index of the last element is actually number of items in the list minus 1 or number of objects in the list minus 1. So here how many objects are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 items in this list. So the index of last element true is actually 4. Now let us try to access a particular element in this list. So print then list 1 of, for example, I want to display this 3.5. So what is the index of this 3.5? 0, 1, 2. So index of 3.5 is 2. So let me give 2 as the index and complete this statement. Now it's giving 3.5 as a result. So if you want to access any particular element in the list, you have to use the name of that list. Then within set of square brackets, you have to mention the index. The index is nothing but a numerical identifier that is assigned to the element in that index. Now next is, as I said, lists are mutable, so you can modify any element in the list. You can modify any element in the list. For example, I want to replace this ABC with another string XYZ, right? So how can I do it? I can access this particular element ABC by using its index. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So index of the string ABC is actually 3. So you can access this element by using the name of the list it belongs to. Then within set of square brackets, you can mention the index. So index of this ABC is 3 and the new value assigned is XYZ, for example. Now instead of ABC, I am assigning a new value to this index or the element in that index. So if this list is permitting or not, let's check it. Okay, just let me press enter, and it's not an error. Okay, it's not an error. Now let us print the list again and let us check whether this new or this updation is done on this list or not. So let me display list one again. You see, now the list is now displayed. You see 1, 2, 3.5, and this ABC is actually replaced with XYZ. So now the new content is there. So by this you can prove that lists are mutable. That means you can modify the existing contents of the list. Now next is you can apply slicing on this list. What is slicing? Slicing is a process of extracting a portion of the given list. It's a process of extracting a portion of the given list. For example, if you want to extract a set of elements from the list from a particular index to another index, you can do it. How can you do it? How can you slice and list? So there's a syntax for it. So what is the syntax of slicing is? Syntax of slicing is first the list name, then within set of square brackets, usually we will mention one index to access a particular element. Here you want to access a list of elements from that given list. In that case, you have to use two indexes, right? So first index is the starting index and next one is the ending index. So start index, after that mention a colon, then end index. Now this is what the syntax of extracting a portion of a given list. That means otherwise called list slicing. Okay. Let us have an example on slicing. For example, in this, I want to extract the elements from 2 till XYZ. So three elements I want to extract or two objects I want to extract from this list. So in that case, how can I extract this? Print, for example, print list 1, okay, list 1 within set of square brackets. You have to mention the start index and end index. What is the start index? That means the index from which you want to extract the portion or that particular slice. So the starting index is 1 because the index of the second element is 1. So start index is 1. Then I want to extract a set of elements from the list up to this XYZ. In that case, if you what is the index of XYZ? 0, 1, 2, 3. So 1 to 3. Now let me try it. I want the elements 2, 3.5 and the string XYZ from this list. Let us try. You see, it's printing only 2 and 3.5. X, Y, Z is ignored. What happened to that process? Actually, when you are mentioning the end index for the slicing, the end index value is not included in the range. Okay, or it is not included in the index list from which you want to extract. So it will extract only up to 2. If you are mentioning 1 colon 3, it will extract from 1, but it will extract only up to 2, not from 3. So in that case, if you want to if you want to extract a set of elements from this list uh, up to 3, then you have to mention the end index as 4. Okay. For example, print list 1 of 1, then 4. Now you see XYZ is also included. So now it's very clear that if you want to have an element in the slice, then end index should be its index plus 1, right? Now this slicing can be done in other forms also. This start index and end index are actually optional, right? You can omit them. For example, let me omit the start index. So print then list 1, then in square bracket I'm not mentioning the start index, instead I'm mentioning the end index after colon. For example, end index is 4. Okay. So in that case what will happen is start index is assumed to be 0. If you are not mentioning the start index here, then start index is assumed to be 0. So in that case, it will extract the elements from the first index, that means index 0 till the last index minus 1. That means 4 minus 1, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it will extract up to the string ABC. Let us check it. Yeah, it's extracting the elements from the starting index zeros. Even the starting index is absent, right? It's assumed that it is 0, and it's from 0 till the last index minus 1. It is actually printed or it is extracted, right? Now you can go in another way. You can ignore the end index. For example, I am giving this starting index, for example, 1, and end index is actually ignored. So what will happen is when you are ignoring end index, then the index of the last element will be considered as the end index, right? So the default last index is actually last index of the last element, right? So in that case, what I expect is from index 1. What is index 1? It is 2. It's having the element 2, and last index of the last element is considered as the end index. In that case, till end from the index 1, it will print all the elements in the list, right? So now let me check it. Yes, right. So it is printing the elements from the index 1. Start index is already clearly mentioned, but end index is absent. But the index of the last element is assumed as the end index. So it is printing up to, or it is slicing up to the last element. So this is what called as a slicing, and this slicing can be even done with little modifications. Negative slicing can be done, and all those things. Right? Let us discuss the negative slicing in other videos. Right? And now let us move to the next agenda in the list. What is that? Is some of the basic operations you can carry out on the list, right? The first operation is len. That means you can find the length of the string by using a len function. So what you want to do is just you can pass the name or the object of that list, or the list object as the parameter to this len function, and it will return the number of elements in the list, or the number of objects in the list. How many objects are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we expect that this function called len of the list object to print or to return 5 as a result. Let us check it. Yes. So there are 5 elements or 5 objects in the list. So len or length function returns the value 5, since there are 5 elements. Now what is next? Next operation is you can concatenate two strings. Sorry, you can concatenate two lists, and you can create the third list. So if you are supplying two lists as operands to this plus symbol, then it will concatenate both the lists and it will return the third list as the result. Now let us check it. Okay, for example, list 1 plus plus list 2. So list 2 is actually not a defined, right? Let us define list 2 first. So for example, list 2 equal to uh, 7, 8, 9, then 10. So we have an integer list in this, and let us create it. Now it's created. Now I want to concatenate this list 1 and list 2. That means list 1 and list 2, and I want to have it in the third list. So when you are concatenating the two lists, the operand list will not be affected at all. So they will be there as it is, and a new list will be created as a combination of the first and second list. Now list 1 plus list 2, right? So in this case, list 1 and list 2 are concatenated, and let us assign it to the third list, list 3, right? Now let us check whether it is working or not. So list 3 is the combination of list 1 and list 2. Now it's done, right? Combination or concatenation of list 1 and 2 is done. Now let us print list 3 and check whether this concatenation worked out or not. So list 3, yes, 1 2 3, 1 2 3.5 xyz true. Then next list 7 8 9 10. So they are not interleaved at the same time, they are no concatenated, they are connected together, right? And let us move to next operator, star. So star operator, when you are applying star operator on a particular list, it repeats the list a given number of times. For example, what is the syntax of this is, you want to mention list name, then star, then for example a particular number of times. For example, 4 means whatever content there in this list will be repeated 4 times, and a new list is created and that is returned. Okay, let us check it. For example, let me repeat list 2, which is having 4 elements. Okay, so list for example 4 is equal to list 2 star, for example 4. Okay, so what I expect is the content of list 2, which is 7 8 9 and 10, will be repeated 4 times and stored in the list 4. So list 4 will contain 4 times continuously this 7 8 9 and 10. Let us check it whether it is working or not. Yes, right. Now list 4 is created by multiplying or repeating the values of list 2 4 times, and let us print list 4. Okay, yes. So 7 8 9 10, 7 8 9 10, 7 8 9 10, and 7 8 9 10. So it is repeating the given list 4 times, right? So star operator repeats, or it is actually multiplying, but actually multiplies means it's repeating the given no list of items for a particular number of times mentioned in the operator, right? So now this is about star operator. So these are all the basic operations, and let us check two more operators. One is in. So in is actually checking whether the given element is available in the list or not. If you want to search a particular element in the given list, then you can use in operator. So this in operator will take a particular element to be checked and a list as operands, and it will return true if the element to be checked is available in the list, else it returns false, right? Let us check it. For example, in this we want to check whether, for example, in the list 2, right, which is having 7 8 9 and 10, you want to check whether this list is having value 9. So how can I check it? I want to have for example 9 in list 2. So 9 is the element or object I want to check or search in list 2. So this in operator will take every element from the list 2 and it will compare it against 9, and if it is there it will return true, right? Now Let us print it. Let us print the result of this comparison. 9 in list 2. Let us check it. Yes, it's returning true. That means in operator is checking whether this 9 is available in this list 2 or not. Since it is available, it is returning true. Let us have one more example. Print, for example, 11. 11 is not there in the list. Let us check it. 11 in list 2. No, it's not there. 11 is not there in the list 2, so it's returning false. Next one is you can iterate through all the elements of a particular list through for loop or using a for loop. Let us check it. Okay, write a for loop for. Then we want to have an iterating variable as we use in a regular for loop utilization. So let us write an iterating variable I, and in is extracting every element from this list and assign it to I. So let me check the values available in, or let me traverse through the values available in list 2. So list 2. So for I in list 2, for I in list 2, yeah, colon, and then print every value of this I. That means the elements in this list 2. You see, it is printing all the elements in this list. So in operator is actually checking generally whether the given element is available in the list or not, and it will extract that element. It can assign it to that variable, and this for loop can iterate through every element in that list. With this, actually the basic operations or the various operators on the list is ending. Now, let us discuss how to delete an element from the list. Is it possible to delete an element from the list? Yes, you can. You can delete an element from the list, or you can delete the entire list. Both are possible. But what you want to do, how to delete an element from the list, is using del operator. So del operator is actually working to delete a particular element. For example, if I want to delete a particular element from the list, you have to mention del operator, del space, then the list name, for example, list 2, and index of the particular element. Okay, index of the particular element. For example, in list 2, index of the element 9 is actually 0, 1, 2, right? So let me give list 2 of the index 2. Now I expect that this 9 to be deleted from this list. Okay, now let us check it. Okay, operation is done. Now let us check whether this 9 is available in this list or not. Let us print this list 2. See, it was having 9 initially when we displayed all the elements. Now it's not having that elements, right? 9 is missing. That means it's deleted from the list. Then you can delete a whole or entire list okay, from existence. Again, the same del operator do that work. So del, then space, name of the list. For example, list 4 I created by the repetition of list 2. Let me delete that. Yes, now we hope that it's deleted. Let us try to print list 4. No, list 4 is not defined. Actually, it's not saying it's deleted, it's not existing. Actually, it's saying it's not defined. So it's a basic error if you are trying to access a particular list that is you are trying to access a particular list that is not at all defined or not at all created. So now error is thrown when you are trying to access a list that is not existing. So del operator is used to delete an individual object or no, member object or member element or the entire list, okay, from existence. Now let us go for the next one. Some of the basic functions we can carry out on list. We have a set of predefined functions that can perform some simple operations on the list. First one is, let us check this max function. So max function is returning the largest element in the list. That means if you are mentioning a list of values, for example numerical values, then it will return the largest element in the list. right? So let us check it. Okay, let us check it. Um, let us create the list 2 one more time. So sorry, list 2 is already there, right? So let us check the maximum element in list 2. List 2, right? So what is actually the maximum element in list 2? We don't know. Actually, we know, right? What is that? 7, 8, and 10. These are the contents of this list 2. Then 10 is the largest element in list 2. So we know that 10 is the maximum element. Let us check whether this max is working properly or not. Yes, it is returning 10 as a result, so 10 is the largest element. Like that, you can have the smallest element in the list by using a min function. So list min of list 2 is actually giving the smallest element in the list. So 7 is the smallest element in the list, 7, 8, 10. Now let us go for next function or next method, that is list of sequence. Okay, list of sequence. So you can convert a particular tuple into list. So now since tuple is not discussed, right, this function cannot be discussed now. Let us move to next one. List dot append of obj. Actually you can append an element into that list. Appending means normally adding at the end. That is called append, right? So you can add a new element into the list at the end by using append. Okay, so lists are actually mutable and expandable. You can add an additional element into that list, okay, at the end or sometimes at a specific index, right? Let us check first the append method, right? Now let me append. Okay, for example, in list 2 already I deleted 9 from list 2. Now let me add that again by using append function. So append function called by using the list object. So list 2 dot append of, then what value I want to append is actually otherwise. Let me have another value, for example 11. Okay, I want to add or I want to append 11 after 10. So 10 is the last element in the list and I want to append 11 into that list. So list 2 dot append of 11, right, is given. Now press enter. Now let us check whether append is working or not. So print of list 2. Yes. Now 11 is appended. Actually, it is added at the end of the existing list. So now the value of the data items available in this list 2 are 7, 8, 10, and 11. Now, it's possible to add a particular element or object in a given index also. That means you can insert a new element into the given index or in a particular given index or in a particular position. For example, let me take 9, which was already deleted. So after 8, it should be there, right? So index of 7 is 0, then 1, then 2. So at index 2, I want to have 9. So in that case, what can I do is I can call the I can call insert method or function, and by using the list to object, and at what index I want to insert. Okay, at what index I want to insert. Okay, at what index I want to insert, and then the object I want to insert. Okay, right? So insert, then for example I want to insert at 0, 1, 2, right? Then what I want to insert, the value 9, right? Let us press enter, and now the operation is done. Let us check it. So print list 2. You see, now 9 is added into, or 9 is inserted into the given position, list in list 2, right? So now insert is working properly to insert a particular element in the given index. Now, another function is there. What is that? It is index of a given object. So if you want to find the index of a particular element in the list, then you can use the index of then that particular object as a parameter. Here, this index of will return the lowest index of that object appears in that list. For example, an object appears 2 times in the list, then the index of the first occurrence of that object from the list will be returned as a result. Okay, right. Now let us check it. For example, let me print list2 dot index. Then the object I want to check is actually, for example, 10. I want to check the index of 10. Okay, see now. Now you see, let us print it. Yes, 3. So index of 10 is 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So as I told you, it will return the index of the first occurrence of the given element in that list. Let me have one more copy of this 10 in this list 2 by using insert method. Okay, so list 2 dot insert of, I want to insert another copy of 10 at 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so insert of 3 comma the object is 10. Now let us check the list 2 one more time. Print list 2. You see now one more copy of 10 is there. Now if I find the index of this 10, right, it will return the index of the first occurrence of the 10. It's having two occurrences, and index of the first occurrence is 0, 1, 2, 3. Index of the second occurrence is 4, right? In that case, I expect index of the first occurrence of this object 10 return. Let me check it. Plus 2 dot index of 10. So I expect 2 as a result. Okay, so print then list of index of 10. It's returning 3. 3 means index of the first occurrence of this value 10. Okay, now this is how index method is working, or index function is working in Python. Now let us check for next method, that is count method. Actually count is counting the number of occurrences of a given object. Okay, counting the number of occurrences of given object. That means it's not counting number of objects in the given list. That's already done by, that work is already done by len function, but it is returning the number of occurrences of a particular object in the given list. That means you have to pass that object as parameter to this. For example, let us check how many number of occurrences of this 10 is there in this list 2. We know that there are 2 occurrences, so its value should be 2. And let us check list 2 dot count of 10. So it will count the number of occurrences of this object 10 and returns a value, right? So we expect that there are 2 occurrences of this 10, so it will return 2. Let us check it. Yes, this returning 2 as a result. So the number of occurrences of 10 is 2, right? So up to this we have discussed many functions. Yes, one more is there, right? So that is sequence. Okay, one more is there, that is sequence. So sequence is if you want to append a set of elements at the end of the list. Okay, if you want to append a sequence of elements at the end of the list, you can use the extend function, and you have to pass a sequence as its a sequence as its of parameter. That means you can pass even another list. You can pass even another list as a parameter, and that will be appended at the end of the existing list. Okay, for example, let us check it. Okay, list 2 dot extend of, you have to pass a particular list. For example, already we have up to 11, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, then 11. And let us append one more thing. Okay, 12, 13, 14, 15, right, within set of square brackets. Now let us check. Yes, so we hope that additional list of elements or sequence of elements is added into this list 2. Now let us print list 2 again. So print list 2. Yes, so now another list of elements is appended at the end of the given list. So till now we have discussed the various operations on the basics of list, and lists are immutable, and you can how to do the modifications on the list, how to update the list, and how to delete the elements from the list, how to delete the list, and what are the various operators that can be applied on the list, and the functions, built-in functions that can operate on the list are discussed. I hope that this video would be useful for you, and I hope that it would cover most of the contents of the list. And subscribe the channel Programmer for Programmers by Felix, and press the bell button for further notifications. And keep programming and happy programming. Thank you.